Hi everyone, Brian from Variable Traders here. It is April 16th. This, of course, is the weekend video where we'll go through last week's price action in the markets and we'll take a look ahead, see what's coming down the pipe for this coming week. So let's get at it. So we'll start out by looking at last week's action quickly here. April 11th, week of short week, trading week, obviously, but interest rates, inflation, and the Fed once again dominated minds of investors and traders. So that all resulted in the Dow being down about 3/4 of a point. The Qs obviously taking the biggest hit at 3%, S&P down over 2%. IWM managed to squeak out a gain. Those small caps managed to squeak out about a 0.5% gain on the week, which was kind of interesting. Of course, areas of strength and weakness, we still continue to see areas like materials, energy, staples, which are typically a defensive sector, still doing well. Technology, obviously, healthcare, consumer discretionary, and we've talked about before. Weakest sectors once again. And of course, interest rates on the 10-year note continued to creep up there. We're at 2.83%. I think we're going to go to 3 before this is all said and done. And the 2-year took a bit of a dip, but now it's coming back up again as well. US dollar strength did continue to move higher throughout the week. So starting out with taking a look at this 2-year chart here on the yields. This is where we start with the treasuries, and you can see here we're kind of flattening out there on Friday. Maybe due for a little bit of a pullback after this great big run up again we had over the last week. The 10-year, again, this is a weekly, but you can see here we're just continuing to push higher. Let's take a look at this on a monthly basis quickly. You can see here this is just over 3%, but this is kind of where I think we're going. We definitely blew through this 200-day moving average, and stochastics, everything is looking fairly strong on the 10-year. So I think we are still going to continue to higher, which is going to obviously put continued pressure on the SPY and particularly on the QQQ and probably the semiconductor space, which is big part of the Qs, which you've seen sell off significantly. Transports really had a sell-off here, and we've come back a little bit on this, but this is area 15,000 where there's going to be some resistance. And again, transport's really taking a big hit there. I think transportation costs were coming down a bit since about a month or two where they really spiked. You can see here on the week we did get a bit of a bounce after a couple of weeks of selling there. The Dow, again, on a daily basis, we're just kind of stuck in a range here. Again, we're really just trading sideways here, really kind of directionless. We have had some of these moving averages cross the 20 and the 50, but again, 200 still sloping up. We are, the RSI, there's really no momentum one way or another. Same with stochastics. So just kind of stuck in a range, which is where I think we're going to be with the Dow. The Qs, really crazy price action. You can see Monday was down. We gapped up Tuesday. It ended up down. Then we had the big rally Wednesday, and then of course turnaround Thursday, engulfing candles. Just a clear lack of direction and sort of on average volume. We are really oversold here, but we can stay that way for a long time if based on the stochastics. So anyway, I think the Qs do definitely look under pressure here and probably heading lower. And that's on a weekly basis, not looking good and probably has some more downside. The SPY, pretty much the same story as the Q, so I won't go over it again. But again, you can see lots of sort of just narrow price action over the week here. Not narrow, but just up and down and up and down, really choppy. The SPY, again, probably going to roll over here. As I said, 420 looks like an area where we might get to resistance, or support, I should say. IWM, again, up big on a couple days there, especially Wednesday, and then Thursday we were down, but overall in the week we did finish up on the day, or up on the week, I should say, 0.5%. So not a bad performance for the IWM. You can see here, this is where we're in a range to sort of 210 to 190. and we're just kind of stuck there, and I suspect that's where we are going to continue to trade and just watch those levels to see which way we break. The VIX, really nothing, I mean, we did have a bit of a pop there on Friday, but with the market selling off, but not anything severe. And again, we seem to be kind of stuck in a range here. No significant fear in the market. VIX tends to be a fear index. The dollar, you can see here, we had an up week, and the dollar continues to be strong as interest rates continue to rise. Bitcoin seems to be sort of narrowing into a bit of a pennant here. And you can see on the daily chart, you can see this pennant forming. I won't bother to draw it in, but usually what happens here is we'll get a resolution. So buyers or sellers will ultimately take control. It certainly looks like sellers are more in control right now, but you really have to wait for the break of one of those trend lines to know for sure which way we're going to break. If the Qs continue to sell off, I suspect we will continue to go down, because really Bitcoin is not a safe haven. It is a risk asset. At this point, that's the way it's trading, contrary to what people would have you believe. So before we get into my stocks that I'm watching, this is a quick ad about my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, Rules, Routines, Strategies of a Swing Trader. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's on Amazon. So let's go back to some of these charts here and take a look at what I've got on watch and some of the things that I'm holding right now. Gold, continuing to watch that. It did definitely break out here last week. You can see here's that prior level of resistance. And you can see we held support along here and then really just started to break out. Had a bit of a check back on Friday, well off the low of the day on Friday. I pretty much feel that this is gold is going to continue to go higher as we get into next week. Obviously, 2000 is going to be a pretty significant psychological level to watch for it to break through. AMLP. This one I had from my last week's watch list. Picked it up last week, and it's starting to break out here. This, of course, is a MLP with pipeline, so we're we're breaking out. This is obviously an energy play, and liking the way that's looking. I'm holding some BTU, and I'm really liking the way this is looking, although it's getting pretty extended from this moving average. I did take some off on Thursday. I did sell some just because of this pop, and we do seem to be getting quite extended. I'm expecting a bit of a pullback, but as long as we're above this 20 moving average here, still sticking with that trade, and momentum looks great on it as well. Again, an energy trade, which is where a lot of the money is rotating into. This is Cal-Maine Foods is an egg producer, and I kind of feel like this is probably it's had a really nice run up. As you can see, I missed that move, but like the pullback to this 20 moving average. You can see here where it kind of held and went higher also. So I'm just took a position on Friday on this one, Cal-Maine Foods. CCJ, been in this one for a little while. Uranium, like the uranium stocks, again, energy, almost a substitute for sort of natural gas and oil that Europe is now trying to wean themselves off of, relying on Russian energy. GDX, again, this is sort of the gold. This is a miner trade. GDXJ, the junior miners in that one, like gold, like silver, same sort of story here. Tesla's interesting. Of course, all the stories with Elon Musk, won't go into those, but you probably already all know them already. But Tesla sold off a little bit on Friday with Elon talking about taking over Twitter, but kind of feels like we're stuck in a range. However, Tesla is reporting Wednesday after the close, so might be an options trade there. Oil, again, keeping an eye on oil. Of course, inflation, the Russia situation, all contributing to oil continuing to find strength here, and it does look like it's ready to start to break out again. And so sort of the energy stocks sort of indicate that. Still looking at this, the healthcare sector. We had a nice run up here, sort of like Cal-Maine Foods. We've had a pullback to the 20 moving average, and Just considering a long position here. Haven't pulled the trigger yet on it, but just this 20 moving average could be support or a stop out point, and maybe we'll get another run higher. Again, this is sort of a safety sector defensive play. Finishing up with a quick summary here, look what to look forward to the coming week. We've got the Dow at about 34,450, and again, we're kind of midpoint there. Same with the Qs. You can see support and resistance where we are. Same with the SPY, and same with the IWM. We all seem to be sort of in the midpoint of all these ranges. So we'll be watching closely to see which direction we might be going next week. Housing or the economic events coming. We've got some numbers on housing starts and sales coming up Monday and Tuesday. Should be kind of interesting since housing has been a bit of a focus with interest rates rising. Of course, we're continuing to watch the sad situation, Russia, Ukraine, and watching what happens next week. Hopefully, nothing gets worse. And of course, we're getting into earnings season, so we've got BAC on Monday, and Schwab before the market opened, JB Hunt, Trucker after the market closed. Tuesday we've got Hal, J&J, and then Netflix and IBM after the market close. Wednesday will be interesting, P&G, Abbott in the morning, but we'll have Tesla and UAL, another airline. Airlines have been doing fairly well, and Alcoa. So we got some interesting things coming up for earnings early part of the week, and we'll see how things go. So thanks for watching, everyone. Again, as always, we start out every morning at 8 o'clock live on YouTube, and engineering the markets, and then getting into the pre-market show, usually with Norm and Carlos. So hopefully we'll see you there. And of course, obviously, trading the market open at 9:30 for our members. Have a good rest of the weekend, everybody, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.